At the height of summer, when the stripers and blues have departed the surf for cooler waters, a larger, stronger, toothier predator moves within casting range of the beach. During a mid-July heat wave on Cape Cod, I joined my friend John Malloy for a night of soaking big baits with the hope of hooking a brown shark.
So I'm Dr. Jeff Kneebone. I work at the Anderson Cabot Center for Ocean Life at the New England Aquarium in Boston. So the study we're doing now on sandbar sharks, we're looking at their survival rate of the sharks once they're caught and released from the beach. So obviously sandbar or brown shark fishing has become really popular on the Cape over the last couple years. A lot of new guys are entering the fishery, and we want to make sure that the fishery is sustainable for both the fishermen and the fish. So it's basically a catch and release only fishery. They can't be kept if they're caught by fishermen. So when fishermen catch them from the beach, they got to bring them up, take the hook out, take a quick photo, whatever they want to do, and they got to be released. So we want to know if those activities cause the shark to die or if they are hardy and can survive those activities.
Right now we're fishing a mix of bluefish and eels. You said you also fish bunker, but you're not, these are your preferred baits.
Occasionally, yeah, I would say bunker is kind of my last resort. Like I said, just not a fan of the durability, especially if you're de-thawing them. They don't stay on the hook well.
So, but the blues and the eels definitely pull them in.
Yeah, the blues and the eels are nice. Crabs will get in on the blues a little bit much, but they just give off so much oily scent that it's hard to argue with it.
How often are you checking your bait?
I mean, every night's a little different. Some nights can be, real bad where it's every 5-10 minutes you gotta check them, swab them out. Other times you can get away with 20 minutes.
When do you start looking for the browns up here on the south side of the Cape?
So I'll start looking around kind of mid to end of June, kind of see how the bluefish have been doing. They moved in and they've kind of moved out. Sometimes you get a little feel for it when the bluefish are in nice, first warm water, then they seem to kind of follow where the bait's trending.
Well, I hope one's here and I hope one's hungry.
Yeah, you got that right. You got that right.
By sunset, we had 6 surf rods fishing a mix of cut bluefish and fresh dead eels. We added glow sticks to our rods so we could see the bites even on the pitch black beach, but it wasn't even full dark by the time we had our first bite. It's weird, man. It's like a slow...
Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, set that thing.
There we go. All right.
Tight?
Yep.
Am I ready to reel this guy in?
Yeah, you're good. As I fought the shark, John cleared the other lines and Jeff prepared the tag. So this was a dead eel out there, and that was really kind of a slow take.
The tag is activated.
He's close. I just saw the boil from him there.
Yeah.
Now, tell you what, man, not a lot of fighting him. Oh. There he goes there. It's like you heard me say that.
Put that light on him. So I'll use that on the boat if they're swimming towards a buoy or something.
Oh, really?
Even on the shore you can do that. Put the spotlight right where you don't want them to swim. And a lot of times they'll swim the opposite way.
All right, we're good to go.
Got him. All right. Yeah, so John, you're saying this is actually on the smaller side for what you generally see, is that right?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely the smaller side of the spectrum, but by no means a small fish.
No.
You good?
Yep.
There are a little more now.
We're using what we call an acceleration data logger tag. So this is really 3 different types of tags in one. We got a satellite transmitter, we got a VHF transmitter, and these are basically going to allow us to find this tag once it comes off the shark. So we put it on in the dorsal fin, and there's a little metal link that will corrode in seawater after a specific amount of time. The tag will then detach from the shark, float to the surface. The satellite tag will start transmitting. We then have a VHF antenna, just like you have on your boat. So this tag sends a VHF signal. So when we drive around to where the satellite tag is reporting from, we start listening for this VHF tag, drive the boat right up to where the tag is, scoop the tag up, and we've got our data back. So the data that we're really interested are logged by this little device here in the back. This is just an accelerometer. So you can think of it as like a Fitbit. It collects really fine scale data on the animal's swimming behavior while it's on the fish. So you can basically tell every time the shark beats its tail, what depth it's swimming at, how fast it's swimming, how much it's swimming, and that's really gonna tell us whether or not it's alive or dead. So when we get this whole thing back, we download this accelerometer and we can have thousands to tens of thousands to millions of data points to work with.
Send her back in, just kind of drag her. Definitely want to keep that end away from me. So. She goes, she's heading off with that tag on there. Jeff said it's going to release in about 4 days. She goes, and I can't wait to hear how she makes out. John, man, thank you.
Hey, great fish.
Fantastic.
Great fish.
Truth reels, is it conventional, small conventional reel?
Okay, a 30-pound class probably?
Yeah, I'd say the reel's 30-pound class. The braid line, the braided on there is
50, 65, 50?
80. I got
80
80 braid to an 80 shock leader. That's about 6 or 7 feet long.
Perfect. All right. Fantastic.
Good,
well
man.
done.
No, awesome. It was so cool to see you the whole tagging process. How do we do fight-wise, release-wise? Is that typical for where you're seeing that? Might have taken a little longer. She gave us a hard time on the
no,
beat.
that's about typical. It was about 4 minutes that it was out, which is, you know, she was in the water line and got the hook out pretty quick, so that was good, and she swam away, so that's what we like to see, but the tag will tell us the truth.
Yeah.
I watched the presentation last year, but I can't remember.
Nope.
Here you go.
That looks good. That looks good.
Oh.
And the bait popped out there. I think that hook's set. Honestly, a good amount of time. I always leave them out for a few more minutes after something like that. Be surprised how often they do come back.
Oh, here we go, here we go.
Jimmy's on.
Jimmy is? Tight.
I think this might have been the one that John just... So John literally just had a runoff, and I was looking at him as he was holding onto his rod, waiting for it to come back. Heard my bait runner going. Now this was on the chunk of bluefish. It's a heavier setup here, and it took a much bigger run.
A little better pull on this one?
Yeah, definitely a better pull. We definitely took a heck of a run as soon as he felt the hook.
Yeah.
It's funny, man.
As with anyone.
Similar size, maybe?
Same size.
Doesn't have a tag in it, does it?
I know, right? Chunky.
Yeah. The second shark, this one hit a bluefish. Definitely a bigger shark. May not be a lot longer, but it's a lot thicker.
Do a measurement on him?
$139, 55 inches.
So 55 inches.
For this study, we're only looking at short-term movements. So usually when you catch and release a fish, it generally, if it's gonna die, it will die within the first couple days. So we only want these tags to stay on the animals for about 1 to maybe up to 5 or 7 days. So it's really just a short-term window into their lives after they're released. So it's a female.
So it's still a juvenile.
Yep. She's getting close to maturity though, close.
Good to go?
Yep, good to go.
All right. Okay, she's ready to go
rodeo.
Two sharks.
Good shark.
Fantastic. I feel bad.
You might have stole it from me.
I feel like that was yours.
With 2 sharks tagged, the night was already a success. As we debated how long to keep fishing, a bright light lit up the beach as a meteor streaked over Cape Cod. On-the-water producer Matt Doucette just happened to have a camera pointed in the right direction. After that, we decided to stick it out a little longer, and just a few minutes later, another rod loaded up.
Yep. He's on.
John Shark swam up the beach through the maze of rods and lines before we had the chance to clear them.
Just underneath?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that in. That's a bottle. Thank you.
John, so what kind of terminal tackle do you have on this setup right here?
So for terminal, we got basically a number, you should have number 15 wire on it, about 240.
Okay.
That's connected to, I bounce around between 100 to 130 pound mono for chafe and shock absorption. Small section for the weight to slide around on, about 1.5 feet, and then just straight back to the main line.
That's a male, right? Yeah, mature
Yeah,
male.
there we go.
Look at that. I'm gonna get the pliers.
Ooh, he gotcha. Someone give me a hand with the tape.
Jesus. So.
He is not happy. Watch your foot there.
I'm good
Okay,
right
good.
here.
Good. You get it out?
Down.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Just kind of hold on to him so he doesn't get away.
How many inches on this one? Or 7 minutes?
Like 56. Hey now. Nice and healthy.
So the males typically are a little bit more slender than the females, or is that just unique to? Doesn't look quite as deep-bodied as the.
Yeah, they're definitely more slender.
I only got close.
The shark kept
All
fighting,
set?
even on the sand, but Jeff is able to attach the tag, and the shark swam off strong.
There he goes.
Beauty.
Another good one.
It's been a few months since we were out there catching brown sharks on the south side of the Cape with Dr. Jeff Kneebone and John Malloy, and Jeff has had a chance to go over some of the data, and Jeff's going to tell us a little bit about what exactly happened to those sharks after we caught them. So you had a number of tags you were hoping to put out. How many sharks did you actually end up tagging?
We had an okay season. I wish all the nights were like yours with multiple fish, but we ended up with 14 animals. Most of them were caught in July. This season, it was my first doing this research with our team, so we were really green out to start and really kind of get our bearings and figure out how to do it. We had a really good July, and we were optimistic about a good August, but it just didn't materialize. So we ended up with 14 animals. We had some decent retention of tags on the 3 sharks that we tagged that night, which was great. 2 of the tags stayed on for about 2.5 to 3 days, which is how long we wanted them to stay on. One of them unfortunately came off after about maybe 8 to 10 hours, I'd say. But the good news is that all the sharks survived and were actively swimming after release. Usually what we see in the data is kind of an escape response. So when they're released, oftentimes they beat their tails really fast and swim away from the area that they were caught. But after a little while, they kind of settled down into a more normal swimming behavior. And we were able to monitor that swimming with the tags for that entire time with very, very high resolution data, and it suggests to us that they were all, they had all survived and did fairly well after release. There seems to be pretty hardy animals capable of surviving fight times around 3 to 10 minutes maybe, and then the sharks that we handled on the beach for unhooking and tagging, that took about, I'd say, 3 to 7 minutes.
So what was the biggest shark you tagged over the course of the season?
The largest one that we got was a little bit bigger, at around 61 inches fork length. We like seeing those big animals because they usually are the hardest to handle, maybe have the longest fight times, and those are the 2 main factors that we think may affect the survival of the sharks. The more big sharks we can get, the better. In terms of the actual data from the sharks that you guys caught, it was just great to see that they survived and they started swimming what we'd say probably normally.
So once you retrieve the tag, what information are you getting from that?
So we get depth every second. So you can see the vertical movements of the shark. We also get some data about body position. So pitch, for example, so is the animal swimming up or swimming down? We can look at roll, which is if the animal is kind of on one side or the other, or swimming upright. And then the most importantly, we get information about tail beat frequency, so we can see how often the shark is beating its tail, because with this species, they have to beat their tail and swim in order to move and breathe. We know that if the tail stopped beating, that was probably bad news for that shark, and it could mean that it died. And the fact that we saw, tail beats consistent throughout the entire time that the tags were on these animals is what we can use to say, okay, they survived. See, at the beginning, they're kind of beating their tail a little bit more, and then they settle in to a more kind of a rhythmic behavior. You can see the orientation of the animal here, and the tail beats, and the roll, the orientation, kind of left to right with the roll and pitch up and down. And you can see when they're moving vertically, it kind of matches that. So we use all this information together to get an indication of whether or not the shark survived. And over time, we can even use this information to learn a bit about their behavior in the sound, like when they're more active, when they might be feeding more, things of that nature.
Jeff, thanks again for letting us participate in the research. We had a great time, and it's really interesting to me. I know it'll be interesting to our viewers to learn more about these sharks, and it's encouraging to see that they survived release. So
yeah, thank you very much. Without fishermen, this project doesn't exist, so we really want to capitalize on the partnerships with recreational fishermen and just promote responsible fishing practices for these sharks in this area. And if we can do that, it's a win-win for everyone.
Of course, man. Looking forward to hearing what happens with your next tagging season this year. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.